what you're saying is something that I've always felt, and that is that the thinking that the inner reflection, as you put it, about meditation was what was the real message. There were many meditations. I think I actually gave over 150 odd meditations while I was at Eglon.
Have you still got them all written down?
Yes, I have.
Wow, that's great.
But I think that I can only remember 2 or 3.
Right.
Now, if I gave them, I doubt if any student can remember one of the meditations I gave. I should be very surprised if they can. But the point was, as you say, it trained everybody to stop and think first thing in the morning, and to reflect a little bit upon themselves and to think for themselves, and to reflect upon an issue which was raised during the meditation. JC's idea of the pebble in the mill pond, creating the ripples which go out and broadcast, as a way in which he described it to the staff. He said, what I want you to do when you give a meditation is to create this quiet, still, calm, so that when you drop the message of your meditation into it, it sends out a ripple across the surface. I think that message is one of the biggest strengths that a lot of the Eglon students have taken away with them. Of the students, and most of the students that I've spoken to, Steve and I sent out this thing saying, tell us 3 things you liked about Eglon and 3 things you didn't like about Eglon. The most popular thing that's come back has been meditation. Those people that have seriously replied to that request and said, these are the things which we think were really good about the school. Meditation is one of the most mentioned. So
I think that's great. I mean, I'm glad. Did John Corlette actually sort of sit down with the staff and give you kind of briefing of what he wanted the meditation to be like? Did he actually just discuss it?
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. In my early days, he sat the whole in the staff meeting at the beginning of the September term. He said, "I'd like to remind you, this is what meditations are about."
So John Corlette, he thought it was quite an important. He emphasised it as being, a very important part of Eglon life. Then.
Absolutely, and he even told you how he wanted you to sit.
I remember Joyce used to walk in from the side.
That's right. But he used to say, you should sit in this way, and you should be totally relaxed, and all your body parts should be in a relation, and you should be able to deliver your meditation without having to fiddle or shift about or whatever. It's supposed to be a calm atmosphere.
And he never he didn't dictate to you the content of it at all then?
Never. Right. Never. Right. No. That was totally up to the staff as to what they did. I used to occasionally want to do something a little bit more upbeat. Occasionally I would use an experience during the week for the basis of a meditation. Hi, George. I can see George. Can anybody else see George?
I can see George. I can see the top half of his head.
The top half of George. Anyway, he did see it as a very important part of the school, a very important part of the curriculum, and he felt that was a very, very important, how can I put it, concept to get across to new members of staff in particular.
And were all members of staff expected to take part, or was it voluntary?
You were asked to do it, and if you refused, you could refuse to do it, yes. You could say, I'm very sorry. If you were a housemaster, you couldn't refuse.
Right.
But it was basically part of your job description. But if you were a member of staff and you didn't feel that you could do it, you could quite easily say, no, thank you. But you were encouraged to do it. And so, I mean, there were some members of staff that had lessons from Teddy as to how to do it if they were unsure of themselves and things like that. But yeah, it was something that everybody was encouraged to take part in.
Yeah.
Of course, we used to when I first came. In your day, we had junior meditations. There were times when the juniors didn't go to senior meditation; they stayed in their houses and had junior meditation.
I always thought the whole school was together. I never knew that in my time there was a separate group. There weren't juniors when I was there, I don't think.
Yes, you were, because that was in my first two years as housemaster in Belvedere, and we had all the junior boys in Belvedere, and all the junior girls were in Exeter. And they used to come together in Belvedere dining room to have junior meditation.
And we teenagers were so self-absorbed, we didn't even notice that the little ones weren't around.
I'm sure. Absolutely.
So, George, how are you?